There was a time when humans were able to communicate with nature and what we have come to know as nature spirits. Tinkerbell and Peter Pan are come to know as nature spirits. Tinkerbell and Peter Pan are far from any truth of today, but in their time, they were around for those who were trusted by the fairy people because of how humans have proven themselves to be. The nature beings are in no way interested in most adults, but they will come to some children. Real life, not what is seen here, as we view the created outer surface of circumstances, has the greatest potential of all for each of us. It is a clean and clear endless of wondrous possibilities. But then again, if a person wants to stay cool with the times, they for sure will be satisfied with their human life only. The human ego and the will it has, no matter what, always ends up in the same spot. The restrictive laws and commandments that have been so miraculously created by the stroke of a pen, divine intervention, or the conviveness of the small and minute minds of man have flabbergasted the onlooking public for centuries. The rules and regulations of the authoritarians have become such that many people have become obsessed over what others have created, as they have made themselves into hardened rule lovers. The rep systems are the best example of hardened rule lovers, as they continually manufacture their clever little laws to purposely suppress people into an intimidating submission. They make the rules and laws and then keep a steadfast eye for those who will for sure break them. The policeman behind the billboard is a scene we have all experienced. All rules, regulations, commandments, the legal system, and so on are contrived under the direction of the gods of man and their subordinates on the earth. The rule makers and their inadequate formal or control is based upon a justification of the out-of-control ego and the pleasure principle. Because most humans like to act out their stupidity more so than they like being more aware. The rep systems are having the time of their lives, always thinking up new ways to do people in. The funny thing is, most people do wholeheartedly agree to all their rhetoric nonsense. Not only do the taxpayers pay the rep systems and their salaries, people are also fined by these same people. With all the intermingling of ideas and emotions, it's not hard to see why reincarnation is a way of life here. And that's a good place. Any ideas here?
It seems like about the homeschooling, seems so important to have the new homeschooling for the children, to have the become aware of the real guides, and get real education about what life's all about. It seems like I'd wish that if I was a baby, that I'd be able to have the new homeschool stuff to grow up with. That would seem like that would change the awareness of all the people growing up if they had the new homeschool.
It sure would. It's those years are important in terms of programming an individual, so they get it in their subconscious as well as their conscious minds. And that connection, that important connection to the isness, and the parents can help with that. They can even introduce the new you, and we hear kids singing the new you on YouTube, and some like Mary Duffy's kids, and some of the kids we've had on, Kelsey's friends, that have sung the new you. They're just little guys and girls. They're happy and they're fun with it, and it just penetrates and it helps them even at that age to get that connection, and then they have a head start. They have an advantage in this world that it's so hard already, but at least they have that the survival mechanism, really, on even deeper levels than the physical. But if you got that connection, well, you're in better shape than a lot of other people.
Yeah, they're very fortunate for sure in that way, but they're not going to fit into society. It wouldn't seem like, because they'd have a different awareness about life.
Yeah, they've got to, again, the parents, that's where the parents could come in and kind of help them coordinate that part of their social lives, because you can't be real like the indigenous or the animals. They kind of have to play the game when they have to. But behind it all, they have the awareness. But in the meantime, sometimes you got to play the game to get by.
They'd have a big comparison, all right, but with the influences of the masses to have to deal with.
Game. That seems where the children like to do that. Once they have that understanding and the perception of the real guides and the real truth, I think they're in better shape to make better choices and make their life more productive.
If we had more kids in the new school homeschool, and generally the situation with Dwayne's daughter could have turned out differently, because when she got to be 12, 13 years old, and she started running around with her friends and they influenced her, and then she said, "Dad, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to go into the real side and have those experiences anymore. I want to be with my friends." Basically, she said that. So if there were more kids around that were doing this, that were more adventuring and going in the real side and being okay with it and continuing on, they would encourage each other and support each other.
Companionship seems to me that's pretty darn important.
Just like what we have here with what we're doing with each other, support each other.
But for the most part, man's experiences here becomes a constant warfare with his own censor, as the RIP systems have laid down all the shadow knots to all who will listen. Many want to believe what their belief system has told them is true, and that their appointed Savior died for them so they could be saved from themselves. This has been a huge angle of marketing ploy by a certain few and their invented systems to get people to support their takeover. Jesus was simply a presentation as an example. When he gave his Sermon on the Mount, he became a competitive threat to the belief system of his time and was purposely set up and taken down by the same systems that today exalt him as their Savior. He wrote nothing, advocated nothing, yet today we have a huge conglomeration of ideas and writing, which he had nothing to do with. What this world is experiencing is marketing ploy at its finest. I am sure it is so that many people would seem to think they really do need a belief system to look to. But the opposite is true because of what the intent of the existing systems are really based upon. Here again is where a person's dream visions will prove what is taking place with those who influence and control the majority of people here. Each person has a free will to choose what their life will be. Even in desperation, the choice is always theirs to have. The rep systems have used the brutality of the few to harness all the qualities of the many. The courtrooms are full of unlawful, who now seem to have more rights than the honest working system. The answer is so simple and right in front of all of us. The courts, police, the United States, and all agencies are private corporations doing business. The ethics of modern living has been washed away for a lifestyle of conquering those who are easy targets and to get what they have worked hard for. Years ago, I was a private placement, which I had invested in. As the company began to make a lot of money, one of the well-known agencies came in and shut the operations down and put a receiver all over the transactions and profits. Instead of assisting the receiver, he began to sell off the properties because he knew it would take time to do so, as he was being paid approximately $250,000 an hour every day, along with his close friends and associates. I actually obtained a huge loan to pay back the original investors, and this action was proposed twice, but the receiver, in front of the shareholders, lied to them and said there was no offer made. To this day, the receiver is still milking the remainder of the funds until they're gone. Here is an example of a totally distorted rule lover and conviver who purposely takes advantage of others and uses the system to do it. His karmic debt will be huge, as Rebazar and Paul have already shown me. his approximate lifetimes to pay everyone back, and that's if he sticks to doing it. At least 25 lifetimes of not so happy of an experience or memories. So much for the legal system that has taught its people to stay unaware and I'm always like a kid at heart with what I know and especially who I know. The money will come and go, but the greatest love and assurance is with me all the time. The real guides and the is. My experience as I'm writing this book is with Paul and Revizar guiding me along as they make those funny little appearances. When I am pressing on the computer keys, I see Paul's light radiating as I bring about an idea to express. Revizar stands by to remind me of an experience we've had together that relates to what I'm writing. I usually write for several hours and then go ride my beach cruiser along the beach and consider what I will be writing next. Each new book that I have written gets better than the last one. It is a great privilege and honor to be able to dedicate my entire life to presenting all that I have learned. I get all my inspiration directly from the is. All I see are universes of light and the real God standing with me in the most secret of positions. The unknown level of the all is few will ever get here and see reality as it is until they have the heart to do so. The unknown level of the all is few will ever get here to see the reality as it is until they have the heart to do so. That's pretty important. You've got to have the heart to do this. You really do. The censor must, you might say, obey what it has been instructed to do. And so the unconscious mind, which can be a connection to the Kalum God and his subordinates, or the real guides of the universal guides, whichever will try to sneak across the experience and information of each disguise, is to contact the conscious mind, because the conditioning of the conscious mind is such, it will, for the most part, not pay any attention to what is being relayed. It is mainly a mechanical thing in nature. This is why the rep systems do not teach about dreams and visions, nor accept them as anything of being valid, because when people discover their real abilities, they no longer need to be in fear of and intimidated ever again by the small minds who have made all the rules to be condemned by. The censor has committed itself to certain obligations from its training, such as love and honor. And as an example, if two people who are together have bitter quarrels and upsetting arguments, they may have dreams of one killing the other, because the imagination can run like a wild beast and conjure up all kinds of things, which affects the unconscious mind. And so, with the moral obligation of the censor being what it is, will not let the experience come through to the personal self. And so, as the center cleverly distorts the information from the subconscious, and the personal self is left unknowing what really took place from their own action. Because most people are not at all objective about themselves. It is not really about the drama that each of us has to deal with, but the real important part is the understanding of how the actions of our personal mind, will, mind, and imagination work and then show us results. This is cause and effect in action. This is where the real secret lies, which is not understood on the surface. And so therapy proposed by the experts is sometimes a waste of time because they really do not know what's taking place in the individual from their real awareness.